I've been to China many times over the past decade, and this already has existed in China for a long time. Whether it's WeChat or Pingduoduo or some of the sites that are in China, they have gamified it and made it social commerce. And they have, like kind of we did Groupon here and Living Social in the past in the U.S., but they've really made it like group buying and fun and gamification and social that TikTok is finally bringing here to the US, and it's really exploding because there is no platform in the US that really facilitates that kind of purchases. Treading water is the same as drowning to people like you and me. You better start swimming. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Rob Green. Well, welcome to today's podcast. We've got Sasha Keehn, who is an affiliate, private label entrepreneur, sold on Amazon a little bit, and we're going to talk all three of those things today. Welcome, Sasha.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Well, first of all, let's give a little background to the audience. You're 20 years old, I believe. Is that right?
Yes, 20 years old.
How long have you been doing this affiliate content creation?
So I just started really with affiliate creation about exactly a year ago.
Okay.
I started on Amazon, like you said. That was my main source of commission. The Amazon Associates program, which I don't even think I was accepted for the real Associates program at the beginning. But I think somehow after a few applications, they finally let me create my own marketplace, and that is where I started.
Awesome. And
Uh,
then TikTok shops happened.
yes. And even before TikTok Shop was a thing, the way that I was getting traffic to my Amazon account was through TikTok. So,
Oh, really?
yes. So I started sitting in this bed exactly where I am with a video talking about the supplements that I take, which I understand you are starting to kind of move into that on TikTok. But I just was saying, I wasn't trying to sell the product. I was just making a video about what I took. And then from there, that started driving traffic to my link in bio, which was always like the thing that you always say, tap the link in bio, which is just, it's crazy that how much that's changed with TikTok Shop. You barely have to say that anymore. It's integrated into the video, but yes, that is how I started.
So the evolution was you were an Amazon influencer or associates program,
Yes,
which gives for those of the people that don't know, it's a commission structure. It's a small commission, very small
yes.
on Amazon. And then you
Hmm.
were doing TikTok organic videos saying, hey, this is what I like. This is what I use, what I take. I like it for these reasons. Then
Yes,
shops became available, and you're like, oh, this is interesting. I'm going to start doing shoppable videos where they can buy on the native on the platform. Is that how it worked?
yes. So up until I think TikTok Shop was slowly being integrated late 2023, early 2024. And I remember the first video that I did for TikTok Shop was a beauty product. It was a red light saying, okay, well, I am not going to spend thousands of dollars on Botox and filler, so I'm using this red light. I didn't know what it was about. I didn't know TikTok Shop. There was a lot of stigma around, okay, is this real? Like, can you actually get products from here? And I didn't even link the product. I didn't buy it from TikTok. I had it on my own, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try this and see if it works. I made $35 off that video, and
All right.
got I got my nails done, and I was like, okay, this is like something that I think I can scale if I really, start trying to they were pushing a lot of coupons,
Mm-hmm.
pushing, okay, you can get this for free if you post. So I was all in. Like basically from the beginning, I was like, that was my first like instant success because I had that one video and it got 3 million views for the vitamins, and I think I made $300
Okay.
off of that video. Which thinking about that now, a video where I made had 3 million views, I made $3,000 in a day now with TikTok shops. So it just
Yep.
kind of shows the difference between commission and Amazon had, I remember, I think beauty was 4%, kitchen 5%, and then fashion was maybe 3%. And so the commission base was significantly lower, and it's based on the type of product. It's not set by the brand itself, which I think is a huge difference now that we're moving into TikTok shops.
I
And
couldn't agree more. I mean, that those numbers are all set by Amazon, and that's Amazon
yeah,
paying it out, right? Whereas
yes,
we as brand owners get to determine what we want to pay the affiliates. So it gives
yes,
us
exactly.
much more flexibility and, as you've experienced, probably much higher commission structure.
Yes. And it's I think it's interesting because on TikTok Shop, of course, with Amazon, they have their search engine and it's completely for shopping.
Hmm.
Um, everything you can kind of search what you want, but TikTok Shop is interesting in the way that it's um, combining a social media structure and Amazon, which was what I was telling my dad from the beginning, or everybody. Okay, let me edit that. What I was telling everybody from the beginning about TikTok shops is it was nothing to be scared of. It was almost just a replication of the design that Amazon had and then mixing it with what TikTok already had, which was engaging your customer, introducing a product, and then influencing them to buy it. So once that was made, once it was
Yeah.
streamlined to add straight to the video, I think, like we were talking about before, it completely changed e-commerce, and it will have a big effect on e-commerce in the future.
Yeah, I mean, I've been to China many times over the past decade, and this already has existed in China for a long time. Whether it's WeChat or Pingduoduo or some of the sites that are in China, they have gamified it and made it social commerce. And they have, like kind of we did Groupon here and Living Social in the past in the U.S., but they've really made it like group buying and fun and gamification and social that TikTok is finally bringing here to the US, and it's really exploding because there is no platform in the US that really facilitates that kind of purchases.
Yeah, I want to. Oh, yeah, you can see. Yeah, it's definitely, and that's what I think TikTok has is that it's mixing content with buying, which is something that Amazon doesn't have. And let me see how I'm trying to put this. Um, I think that it creates, or well, let me. Sorry, I'm jumping in.
You got
I
time?
think the way that TikTok Shop makes. Oh, sorry, I'm also lagging on here. Are you able to hear me
That's just
clearly?
Riverside. It'll lag on its
Oh,
own
okay.
every once in a while. You
Okay.
just keep talking. It's recording.
Okay. Sorry. Okay. Okay.
That's
I
okay. You're
think
fine.
that I think it's an incredible way to allow the buyer to feel like they also have a voice in the product and selling the
Mhm.
product. I noticed that a lot of my engagement and when my videos go super viral, it's because they have a lot of engagement. Sometimes it's other customers saying that they love this product as well, and I think that that like kind of spurs on, and it's almost like the review section being the comment section. Obviously, that's kind of a link that is clear. It's a very clear parallel is the comment section and the review section. But I think having that like you almost feel like you're both consumers, and
Mhm.
if you can get on the same level as them, I think you're gonna have a ton more success selling. So I always introduce a problem first and say, okay, I have this problem, but that's what I'm saying when I'm kind of writing my script. Okay, I have this problem, and introduce it to the viewer as if they have the same problem, even if they don't know they have that problem yet, even if they don't know that they are. One of my best selling products was a digestive enzyme. So even if
Mhm.
they don't know that their digestion is, messed up, it's my job to introduce it to them as maybe that's something that they have a problem, or they already know they have a problem, or they have an issue. So And then when people are in the comments saying, okay, this really worked for me, this, and then they're replying to each other, I, it's really, it boosts your engagement and it boosts sales. So, that's why I love TikTok Shop. To me, as a influencer, Amazon is obsolete because I could make $300 before I wake up on TikTok Shop when that's how much they were paying me for a $3 million video or 3 million view video. So yeah, that's how that's
It makes sense. It makes sense to me. It's obvious to me. A couple questions. Number one, can you share with the audience like your workflow? How do you decide what you want to promote, and then what do you do once you decide what you're going to promote? Do you
yeah,
request a sample? Do you buy it on Amazon? How do you walk through? Because you review a lot of products. So
yeah,
talk. Can you share with your workflow?
yeah. So basically, I let me think about it. When I was starting, it was really almost just the obvious answer to go for everything.
Okay.
Every collab invite I got, which I and is another thing I love about TikTok Shop is that you can just see all your collab invites in one place. Everything is, there. You can manage samples, everything in one place. Um, so the obvious answer for me was I'm going to try to do everything. I'm going to try to review every product. The more videos I post, the more sales I get, it'll be better that way. So after a few weeks of doing that, and it's really weeks. It's not, it for me, it went quickly. It was um, just a few products turned into, 6 products. And then I was, reaching out to more brands. And I remember at the beginning, I would reach out to brands that I saw on TikTok Shop and I saw were doing good numbers. And I would reach out to them and say, hi, I'm a college influencer. I would love to promote your product. I have a good idea for a video and I think I can sell it well on TikTok Shop. And then from there, I think about a few months in, I would reach out and I think I got 50%. If I were to put out a number, I would get a 50% response rate. And most, like from that, maybe 20% would actually follow through and I
Mhm.
would get the product and then make the video. And I
Okay.
never missed a video. Every single product I got, I made a video for. And I think there's been one product to this day where I got it and I could not post anything about it. So I'm posting everything. But it was also keeping in mind that to me this was like a business and not, I think a lot of people my age especially, it was I want to be the next Alex Earl, like I want to be on a red carpet, I want to be, walk like doing these, trips and whatever. But for me it was just business. I would do everything. Now will I go through my email about once a day and I have my email in my bio and 90% I won't even open because they're scammy or I see that it's just not something that I would feel comfortable promoting just from the subject line. So I now go through and I see I have maybe like 10 products that I know do really well and I post them and I'll probably replace one product every month and then there's the same 9 ones and then a new one. And then it's kind of like I go and replace it each month and I have 10 like core products that I now promote. And I know will do well every video that I post.
And then how often, so let's pick one of those products, doesn't matter which one, but
Mm.
any of those products, how often will you post about that same product?
So a lot of times, a few times a week, I will post
Okay.
if I have a lip stain. And I love this lip stain. I use it every time I do my makeup, which makes it easy to make videos on it because I have several opportunities to make it throughout the week. So
Okay.
they're constantly emailing me, and I'm emailing back and forth with them about new brand, like new campaigns that they have going on, and you know, new products and stuff. And they'll send me product. I will do it all the time. I make probably or 5 videos a week about them. So this, and it's a different product because it's not like your normal lip liner, and that's what I think is really intriguing about it to the customer, is that they can, when the first clip is always it on and it looks different to them, and I think that really hooks the buyer, and then, or hooks the viewer, and I can, choose about 6 different templates I have for what I know will do well with that product. So I have these templates in my mind of what I know has done well in the past, and it's all just trial and error. So
Yeah.
posting, watching other people, gathering data in your mind of just knowing what does well on TikTok and what TikTok likes. Then you can create these templates in your mind or write it down if you're more of a visual person. And I follow that template for every single video. And it's not something where I was like, oh, I need to be funny or I need to do this. And it's, weird that I'm continuing to post this because I know people who follow me. And I am living at that time, I was living in a sorority house with 60, 70 girls. And the pressure of them being like, what is this girl doing? Like, we don't, like, I don't think that it had ever, like, they had ever, I, well, actually, I don't want to get any of them mad at me. Okay. I think that just the way that people had never seen, I don't think this has ever happened before, where you're just doing it strictly as a business. It's not to
Yeah.
have new content every time. It's not to be the first to do this or to have the first video that goes viral. For me, it's doing what I know and replicating success over time to create a steady flow of income.
I think that's super smart. I mean, I like to reverse engineer success. So you might as well
Yeah,
model what already works on the algorithm instead of trying to
yeah,
reinvent the wheel. You're going to have a higher probability of success. There's no doubt about it.
yeah, yes,
What
exactly.
I've seen from a commission structure is like usually 10 to 30%. Is that what you normally see
Yeah,
also on your side?
yes. And a lot of the times, it's kind of like I know I can get a better deal. I see the commission, but I'm always looking for a better deal. I have a management, and there's a lot of TikTok management coming out now where they will offer
Yes.
you a higher commission to be one of their influencers. So I'm always
Yes.
looking for that. If I see an email in my inbox from a company, I'm looking through my few different like managements to see if they offer a higher commission. So yes,
Mm,
usually between 10 and 30. Um, the management is very similar to modeling. If you know how the structure of management modeling goes, they have you in their roster as an influencer. They submit you to different brands for projects, and then you'll either be selected or denied, which is another part well, it sucks that I was denied by this brand that I really like, but over time, like brands now that I would have never dreamed to be working with, they, have selected me for um or they've selected me for different like brand opportunities, which is really, I think that's the motivation in the job, is like when you get selected for things like that. And then commission obviously as well. But
one
bigger,
thing that,
like the brand, oh sorry. Oh,
no, I
continue.
interrupted you. Go ahead, please, Sasha.
Oh, I think both commission and like brand awareness of that brand are both different, or two of my main incentives. So I work with Skims for zero commission because Skims is owned by Kim Kardashian, and I don't care if they're paying me commission. It's just something great that I can put on my um
So
you know
you can build your portfolio. You're thinking about
yeah, yeah. I
like
what
modeling.
the resume, or it's like a
Yeah.
resume. I have to send it to every brand. I don't know why I'm blanking on the actual term, but basically my
Portfolio?
resume. Yeah, and just it's like a specific name. I'm blanking, but my portfolio, I will work with Skims for zero commission because I want to put them on my resume. So an unpaid internship, but in the social media world.
So one thing people talk a lot about the commissions. Do you think about the price point though? Like 30% of a $5 product isn't a lot of money. 10% of an
Yeah.
expensive product could be a lot more than a 30% of a $5 product is a buck 50. 10% of a $50 product is a $5 commission. Do you think about the price point at all?
Yeah, so what I've actually noticed is that the lower the price point, you would think, okay, well, it doesn't really matter if it's lower because I think I could sell more. Like my volume of orders will just be higher. So hopefully that'll make up for the commission base that's lower, basically. But a lot of times, products that cost $3 or $2 when they're offering you that 30% commission, it doesn't even matter because I have not had success selling that on TikTok. Either the shipping's too much to
Yeah, there's
justify
not.
buying a $3 product on TikTok shop, and I can see it. I know that's why buyers aren't buying it because they'll comment, okay, well it's a $3 product, but $10 shipping, so why would I buy this? I hear that feedback from my viewers. So I've honestly really taken a step away from those, cheap products. If I really enjoy the product, I'll post about it, or if I really like it and I think that it's a really good deal for how little it is or like the price point, I will post it. But the average cost of a product I'm selling is probably no less ever than $10.
That makes sense.
So I know I can do well, or $10 or $15. And that price point is like I've found to be the sweet spot on TikTok Shop for me at least. I know that there's other people who, have different experiences, but for me the sweet spot is $10 or $15. And if I'm making 10%, that's a dollar or $1.50. But if it's 20%, it's $2. And then if I get 200,000 views, I found that around about, every 1,000 views, I'll make one sale. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. But on those
Okay.
big videos, it goes, it starts with about one order per 1,000 views.
Okay.
And obviously this varies a lot, but once it gets above about 10,000 views, I notice that that number starts increasing because I think the better a video does, the more likely a viewer is to buy. And so then it just starts to, snowball into this big number where you think, oh, $2 is nothing. But then most days I'm, getting about 500 orders. So then on average now I'm making about $1,000 a day. So it's just
That's awesome.
like it's insane, and I never thought this would be something that I could see for myself at 20 years old. And all my friends are like off. It's just keeping the you know the view on what's like on what is working for me. I know that $10 to $15 is my sweet spot. That's a lot of the probably 80% of what I'm selling. And I like that $2 commission because I know that I could, sell 500 products in a day, making that $2 commission.
I I like the approach. I have spoken to a few people that are affiliates. Not as many are taking as much of a business approach. So I have a ton of respect for you doing that, especially at your age and your experience level. You should treat it like a business because who knows how long this door will or this window will remain open, right? I mean, there's no
Yes.
guarantee that this is going to go on forever. You might as well double down and work hard on it. Have you moved into any type of contracts with any brands yet above and beyond affiliate commission? What I'm seeing in this space now is some hybrids. So it'll be something
Yeah.
like we'll pay you 500 a month or 1,000 a month plus commission, and we need you to post 3 times a week for a month or something like that. Have you started to move into that stage of your career?
Yeah. And so that's what we do. There's flat fee, there's exclusivity, there's commission, obviously, like we're talking about. There's cross-platform posting. There's a lot of different ways that you can make money with these companies. And I predominantly use commission, but I have done a few of the flat fee deals where you sign a contract with them. and then you are exclusive with them for, 4 weeks. And you are supposed to post twice a week on your Instagram and then 3 times on TikTok and whatever. For me personally, I like those deals, and let me think about this. And I will, so, okay. I think with those deals, just what makes them different is that there is a lot of navigating how much you charge for that.
Hmm.
So, how much do I charge for, like, you have to take into account what you're losing by only posting them. So, I've only
Got it.
taken one exclusivity deal because I use, like, I'm not gonna just say, oh, I'm only using this beauty product because that's 50% of what I'm posting. So I will never say okay to an exclusivity deal with, for example, like a beauty brand because I'm using 10, and then the profit that I would be losing is just not worth it. So
So
a lot of that, like, I think that's a lot of what people are wanting is the exclusivity, because I think it just makes the influencer seem more like just trustworthy.
yeah,
But I don't know if that's what you're asking, but
I mean,
um
I understand there's a lot of different deal structures, of course. One thing that I'm seeing taking off that we're doing, and then some of my friends are doing that own brands, is what we're doing is we're thinking like more like a consistent
yeah,
content creator is where I say.
okay,
So it would be, instead of like an exclusivity, it'd be like it would be like a hybrid model, right? Because
yes,
even the best content creators don't know what's going to go viral, right? And the
yes,
brands don't want to just pay for a post. I don't know anybody that owns a brand that thinks about just paying someone money to post anymore. Now it's like, all right, I'll give you some money, but I want to tie it to performance, right? I want
yeah,
to, because so many people in the past would pay like 5 grand for somebody to do a post and maybe generate nothing off of it, right?
yeah,
So the tie to performance, what I'm seeing is like an example would be, let's say for you, and you've got 10 brands that you constantly post, they could each brand pay you $1,000 plus commission every month,
yeah,
and you agree to create content on a regular basis. You know, then no matter what, you've got the 10 grand coming in plus the commissions. That seems
yeah,
like a win-win structure to me.
yeah. And so what's interesting to me is that TikTok Shops has, like, hit that on the nail. Once again, they introduced Creator Marketplace, which
Mm-hmm.
is exactly what you're talking about. You apply almost as if you're applying to a contract job. It's like a contracted worker.
Yeah.
You are applying, you're telling them it's different from TikTok Shop because you're not just adding it to your showcase and just anybody can post about it. You have to apply to be chosen as the creator to, do this brand. You get paid your flat fee, which is, $300, but you're also getting paid commission on top of that.
Yeah.
And you're on a contract to post 3 videos, and they give you exactly it's easy because they're giving you exactly what you need to say. You have your
Mm.
script, and they're going to send you the product. You do your 3 or 4 videos a month, whatever they have in your contract, and then you get commission on top of that. And from there, based on your performance, they will either not continue the
Yeah.
contract,
Or
or
renew it.
they'll offer, yeah. So they have introduced that with Creator Marketplace, which is something that I just started this month. So
Oh, awesome.
that's
Okay.
pretty exciting.
I didn't even know about that from the brand side. We haven't explored that, so we're going to look into that
Def-
today.
Definitely look into Creator Marketplace. I have, I only have, I think it's obviously new. They just
Yeah.
started it, but it's for creators with over 10,000 followers. And I believe you have to post a certain amount of TikTok shop content. But it's interesting because that idea, that hybrid that you're talking about, and then of course with with the Amazon influencer thing, I think they're just taking every single one of those like the way that influencers can sell product and then streamlining it to be on their side. So it's very simple. And they tell you exactly what you need to do. And from my back end, I can see every product that all of my audience is interested in. I can see videos that have done well with my audience. I can see why those videos did well. They literally will write down, they have paragraphs for us to read why these
Wow.
videos did well and what made them go viral, or they will have different videos that I can watch that will teach me how to make a better video, or how to make a good 5-second video, how to make a good 15-second video, how that differs, and then how, like, basically everything is on TikTok Shop now that I mean, just when you were explaining that to me, I realized that that is literally what Creator Marketplace is. And they
That's
just
awesome.
introduced it to be kind of a hybrid model, like you're saying.
Yeah, I think it makes sense because it's a win for both the affiliate and
Yeah,
the brand. There's some
yeah,
money no matter what happens. And then the
yes,
brands, we all want consistent content from good people, not
yeah,
just a one and done. I mean, that ideally
yeah.
we want people like that use the product and share consistently over time and like the product. That's ideally for us. So now you've had a lot of success as an affiliate. And before we started recording, you talked a little bit wanting to do your own brand and private label. Talk to me about that a little bit.
Yeah. So when I was 4 or 5, I had overheard my dad talking about some job struggles. So I was around the neighborhood selling my own toys and stuff to my
Mm,
neighbors and just trying to raise money for my family. So this has been in me forever. This is what my end goal has been since I was 4 or 5. I wanted to sell my own product. So
okay.
going from there, I tried to do drop shipping. Like when I was maybe 14 or 15, I was on YouTube watching videos. How can I drop ship? I wanted to learn that, have my own product once again. Um, and then I kind of just gave up. I thought, okay, I have no sales. I have no, you know, I can't do anything from where I'm at. After affiliate marketing, after I found success there, I realized if I'm selling products for other people and only making the 30% commission, why can't I just sell my own product? Of course, that's, easier said than done, but that was my thought process is if I could sell product for other people, I can sell it for myself. And so from there, I started contacting manufacturers for a tanning cream, which is something I knew my audience would be interested in because I'd seen success with similar products, and I knew I had a good layout for a video, a before and after,
Hmm.
something that is very consistently successful when posting a video. Right in the first maybe 2 seconds of the video, you could show the before and after, hooks the viewer, and I knew that would be something that I could sell on my own. So I contacted manufacturers. I knew I've been I've been unfortunately tanning since I was 12, so I knew what I was looking for in my ingredients. Like I just was like, this is gonna be my product. A tanning cream. My name on TikTok is Sasha's Magic Sauce. I was gonna call it the tanning sauce. And I lived in a house with 70 girls. So I was like, this is perfect. I'm just gonna give it to my friends. I'll have them post about it. Like brand awareness. I was like, there's 1,000 tanning creams out there, but if I get my brand to be like, okay, this is the one that can create the most insane before and after, I knew like my product was going to be successful. So I got a manufacturer, had it, I had 200 units delivered to my sorority house, which was in these giant crates. And they were like, what? This girl has had hundreds of boxes come in the past few months, and now she's getting crates shipped to us. Like, get her out.
Love it. I love
Um,
this.
so I had the inventory shipped to me, and this was my first experience with inventory because obviously the great thing about affiliate marketing is that you have no overhead, you
Yep.
have no
No,
inventory,
no inventory.
no liabilities, no warehouse, nothing. You don't have to deal with any of that. So this was my first experience with inventory. So I was like, I'm gonna get this big, container and have everything and just sell it. So that has been my experience there. I'm just starting. Actually, this morning, I was on the back end of TikTok doing collab invites, which is another great thing about TikTok. If you're a seller, it's so just user friendly in the sense that
Yes.
I can see creators who are fast growing. I can see creators who have posted about similar content. I can see creators who are in my desired age range. I can see everything from the back end as a seller, which is super interesting to me because I only was really focused on myself for so long that now looking at other creators and how much they're making, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can see it's opening my eyes to how much you can do as a seller on TikTok. So that has been kind of my dipping my toe into it. I've been working on those collab invites. They have big campaigns that you can work on your targeted campaigns, open campaigns. So that's and it's solely on TikTok Shop. I'm not selling this retail. I'm not selling it on Amazon. I'm not selling it on my own um, website. It is solely on TikTok Shop. So I've sold 60 products so far, which is, in the first month, I think, without really focusing on it until literally today. I put my first campaign together with targeted influencers and just it sends them a little note. You create your note that you want to send them that says, "Hey, I think you'd be perfect for
Hmm.
I think you'd be a perfect person to, post about my product. I'd love to send you a free sample. I have included it in this target campaign. So if you just request a free sample, I'll be sure to fulfill it. And I look forward to hearing your response." It's super easy. And I can just go through and hand pick the influencers that I want to send this to. So that's been super interesting. I'm looking into some AI platforms that will gather different emails because a lot of influencers have their email in their bio. So that AI platform that I'm looking at um, collects all of those emails and then has them in one platform where you can just send mass emails. So I'm looking at doing that because that is a way that I also have because I know my side, I know the influencer side of it. Now I think I would be better. I have more experience so that I can work with the influencers. So I'm really
Couple
excited to
thoughts on
start doing
that.
that.
A couple of thoughts. One of the top selling products in the self tanner category is a friend of mine, and so she used to be in our mastermind. I have a mastermind that we've been running for 7 years of e-commerce brand owners, so I know that category fairly well. And absolutely crushes the self tanner space, and
Love
the
it.
revenue she does from that is astounding.
Yeah,
It's
that is
very,
insane.
very good space for repeat orders too. So that
Yes.
I think you're on. I think you're onto something for that because she's built a great brand around that main product.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's a good. If you think about it, everybody I know that's had a successful brand, and let's just say successful, multiple millions or 10 million or more in revenue, let's say, they have usually one or two anchor core products that work. And then they build the brand around those anchor products. Everybody
Okay.
who's had tremendous success they're not all winners. There's nobody I know who launches all their products are great home run winners. You need singles and doubles and triples to go along with the home runs.
Yeah.
And that product at least has the potential to be a home run if done well. I think you made a couple of really great points there. Everybody underestimates the difficulty in inventory based businesses because
Yeah.
you have to and I did too when I started, just to be clear. You have to balance how many do I order with how many am I going to sell?
Yeah.
And you only order a couple hundred, that can be gone quick. And then you got to wait
Yeah.
for your inventory to be made again. I'll give you an
Yeah.
example. We just launched a brand with one core product, we ordered 15,000 units on the opening order of the product, and it's not a cheap product. So it's
Yeah.
a significant investment, and that's where I think a
Yeah.
lot of people, because now we're ready to place our second order, and we just got our first order like a
Yeah.
couple weeks ago. So it's like, all right, we need to place another order. That's a lot more capital that has to go, and then I've got to manage where that
Yeah.
inventory is, get it shipped out. It's a lot. I think most people that haven't done it, including myself, I underestimated when I got into the having my own brand business, the amount of like logistics and
Yeah.
lead time and all that stuff. But I think that you're on the right track, because that's truly building like enterprise value, is going
Yeah.
after and building something that has the potential to explode. And I will say this, a lot of these categories, most people, including myself, didn't think you could do well in on Amazon because they
Yeah.
have so many reviews. But
Yeah.
now with TikTok shops, a lot of that traffic on shops overflows to Amazon.
Yeah.
And then that
I
helps your ranking in Amazon.
Yes. And and that's why I 200 units is nothing. Like 200, like you were saying, 200 units could be gone in one video that does really well. And like with that, I think when it comes to posting, it kind of replicated in in having my inventory based business is that I was scared, so I didn't order, you know? And
Yeah, of
so,
course. I get
and
it.
another thing that I was not prepared for, and I should have been prepared for because I am a business student and I've taken supply chain, I was not prepared for reverse logistics. I knew, just like based on my education, that reverse logistics was going to be one of the biggest problems that I faced in an inventory based business. Dealing with returns, dealing with refunds, dealing with all that was nothing that I had dealt with before. You think you know everything because you're like, okay, well, I've been selling product, but you're not really selling product, you're just a middleman. And
That's correct.
so you're the advertisement for it.
Yeah.
So dealing with that has been something that I was also not ready for. But yeah, that's just been another noted little thing that I'm like, okay, well, that's a little bit different.
I, I went to school for finance, and then I got an MBA, and I had very little respect for supply chain before I started my
Yeah.
own brand. And then when
Yes.
I started shipping containers from China on a regular basis, I found a newfound respect for
First,
supply chain very, very
yes.
quickly.
My
Um,
my
quickly.
my supply chain professor, I just took it those last semester, and he at first at the beginning of the semester he showed us this flow chart about how everything in business revolves around supply chain. And I rolled my eyes and I was like, get over yourself. Of course, you would say that you're a supply chain professor, but
Yeah.
truly everything in business revolves around supply chain. I've had issues that I see when I post a video and it gets a million views, and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be, I know this is some good commission. I'm about to get some good stuff coming in, and then it's out of stock, and I'm like, okay, uh, or there, and it doesn't come back in stock, so it's like a wasted video, and those are
Yep.
really valuable to me. And so then when it's a wasted video because of supply chain, now I'm like, and of course with this, I'm realizing everything that happens with supply chain and just getting here and making it faster. And obviously that has to do with reviews, and your shop score is, related to what review. Yeah, it's just, and shop score is a big thing now, like with TikTok shop that I
Yes. How are
noticed.
you learning? I mean, it sounds like you're drinking from a fire hose. You're trying to be the affiliate, trying to create your own brand. How are you learning to do this? And the reason I asked this, I mean, I was doing drop shipping for a few years. I bought a course online, as silly as that sounds, and I went to a conference called ASM. It's still around. It's in like its 13th year or something like that. But I bought a course. Most of the guys I hear on YouTube or on social media, they haven't done it. There are a lot of like gurus that talk about Amazon or selling online, and most of the guys I've seen are not really, don't have their own brands and their own businesses. How do you learn,
Yeah.
or how are you trying to learn all this new information that you need to be
Um,
successful?
inefficient as it sounds, it's all through trial and error. I have not bought a course. I have not really had a mentor in this. And of course, TikTok Shops was new to everybody who
Yeah.
was on it, starting whatever at the beginning of this year. So everything through trial and error with TikTok Shops. But my biggest, teacher and mentor through this whole thing has been TikTok Shops, like TikTok Shops itself, because they just provide you with so much content and insights and data. And data is the biggest resource that I have. I know who my audience is. That's a big thing. Just knowing who your audience is, knowing what they like, knowing what videos do well. I never post blindly. No post that I have is, and this is kind of going back to what I was saying, I don't have posts on my page that are going after my ex-boyfriend. I don't have posts on my page that are making fun of girls that I don't like. Nothing that I'm doing on TikTok is just for no reason.
I love
I
it.
know what I know what I'm doing with every post, and I'm trying to make money with every post. So for me, it's just being super revenue,
Intentional.
yeah, and oriented around making money off of and being successful. It's I think that a lot of that not only is it just not I mean simply just not making money, but it brings you bad energy. I'm super energy like vision focus future oriented. I write down. I have a One Direction notebook next to my bed that in 2020 I wrote down I was going to make money on social media. And I didn't know how. I didn't know obviously that TikTok shop was going to be a thing, but I wrote all this down. I wrote what I wanted and I knew what I wanted, and I don't think that that's the only reason. Obviously, you can't get anywhere without actually putting work in, but, and it wasn't just because I wrote it down in a One Direction notebook, but I think that that's just something that a lot of people my age, unfortunately, like kind of forget is just that everything is intentional, and if you're not going to make money, being like, I know that there's creators out there with triple the amount of following that I have, but are not making any money because they're not monetizing their content. So that's just
Yeah,
my biggest focus.
I want to double click on a couple of things you said because we use software to analyze all the influencers, right? So we use a couple different softwares. Callow Data and Fastmoss is who we use, and we can see all the numbers. And
Yeah.
there isn't a direct correlation between number of followers and revenue created. In
Yeah.
fact, most of the people in the top 100 don't have a lot of followers. They have some, but they don't have a million or
Yeah.
500,000 followers. Most of the top affiliates are under 100,000
Yeah.
followers. So we
Yeah.
don't, as a brand, we don't view it as a direct correlation to followers equals revenue. In most cases, it's
Yeah.
not the case.
Yeah. And if you look on the back end from TikTok shops, the follower number is like tiny underneath
Hmm.
the name and like a few other things. It's very small in the corner, and that is intentional. That is
Yes.
because it really does not matter. When it comes to TikTok shops, what matters is your GMV, your average amount of views on a TikTok shop video, and then your engagement rate. So those are the big three in my mind when just looking at TikTok shops that really have to do with how much revenue you're going to generate.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that. You, well, I'm gonna give you one recommendation as you go down this building your own brand journey. I
Yeah.
would definitely recommend getting a course. There are a few good courses out there I could probably recommend to learn
Yeah.
about how to build your own brand. Um, while I think TikTok Shop is great for learning trial by fire, and because it's so new, there have been plenty of people who have paved this path for you already about creating a brand and learn
Yeah.
from their mistakes and do a course. And then not only that, once you get up and running and have some success, join a group. I cannot
Yeah.
emphasize this enough. Like I'm in one group. It's called Million Dollar Sellers (MDS). Everybody sells at least $1 million a year on Amazon, verified. Like you have to go through an
Yeah.
interview process, and there's like 600 people in it. And then a friend and I started our own mastermind about 7 years ago of e-commerce brand owners, and we get together like 3 times a year. We have a monthly call, and we've all kind of grown together, and we all share and help each other. And getting
Yeah.
that network of help people to work with is highly valuable, Sasha.
Yeah. And that's what I'm kind of looking for in creating a sustainable
Yeah.
business. I'm like by no means, I'm 20 years old. I don't expect myself to be a sustainable, just set in stone provider for the rest of my life. Like, I don't think that this is going to be something that is going to be exactly like this for the rest of my life. And this is exactly how I'm going to make money the rest of my life. I have found that, like what you're saying, my main management that I work with is called To Boost. And they have weekly creator meetings where they talk about what's been doing really well on TikTok Shop, what products are doing really well, how you can advertise those. And I find those meetings super helpful in for the affiliate side. But building a business, I would love that. I mean, I didn't even know what that was. So thank you.
Yeah.
Need that kind of. And I don't have anybody around me. I'm 20 years old. My friends are not in this space, which is completely fine. And I love just kind of setting work aside and going to hang out with them and doing fun things with my 20-year-old friends. But none of them are in a $1 million seller group on Amazon. You know what I mean? Because they're 20 and that's not, really common. So getting that advice is, especially from somebody like yourself who has proven success is really beneficial and, I mean,
Yeah,
honestly,
learn
life
from other
changing.
people's mistakes. Learn from other
Yeah,
people's mistakes as much as you can, and save yourself the time of making the same mistake.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
there's no need. Some lessons you got to learn on your own. Most of them you
yeah,
don't. Most of
yeah,
them, if you can learn from somebody else. I know we could talk all day about this. I love this stuff, but I would love
yeah,
to.
me too.
We talked a little bit before we started recording about a couple of failures you had when you were younger, a whole,
Yeah,
15 or something like that. So I'd love to share a couple of lessons you've learned along the way so far.
yeah. So with TikTok, it's obviously something where you are more likely, obviously, to see people who are doing really well and to have videos that the ones that you see obviously are getting thousands of views. But from what I've seen, the creators who are in my management and even some of my best videos, it's when you're doing it as a business, it is the quantity of how much you are working. So if you're only going to post one time a week and you're expecting that one video to go viral and to have thousands of sales off of that one video, you're doing it wrong. It's just not going to work unless you were the one in a million picked and you're literally a Victoria's Secret model selling, bikinis that everybody is going to look good in. But the best advice that you can do is just keep pushing out content. It seems counterintuitive to the phrase that is so often said, quantity over quality, or yeah, quality over quantity. Um, but in TikTok, that's just not the case. Some of the best creators that are doing, 130,000 are getting average maybe 1,000 views per video. But because they have so many videos that are passively making revenue off of, like, one of my best performing videos to this day is a video I posted in January that's still
Wow.
creating revenue. So just be aware that it's not all about views. It's not, we're so social media, like who's the most famous. I think if you're looking to do this as a business, you should be looking to do it as a business and not to be getting famous because that is going to divert your attention from the real, like from what you might be actually wanting to do. When I kind of changed my perspective on that, and wasn't just posting once a week, I really started to see results. So I think that's just different from what people have been saying with the obviously have quality videos, but be able to have a resume or just a back in knowledge of what you know you do well and do that. Replicate that success over time and you will be successful. With my failures, one of them, the biggest one was my drop shipping. I worked on it for what I thought was a really long time and I thought I would be able to just because I worked on it for so long that it was going to be successful. And
Hmm.
that's not always the case. I've had videos similar where I work on them for a really long time and they get zero, sales. But just remembering that you are not always going to be successful with every video, I have to be reminded all the time that it's long term success being able to just have a really large and expansive resume of stuff that you've done that is going to, make money. And if that's what you're in it to do, then that's what you're in it to do. I'm not wanting to walk red carpets. I still want to enjoy my college life. I don't want to be filmed doing, like at the bars and stuff like that. So I just am doing it for this, not to be, the most popular girl in LA or anything like
I love that approach. It reminds me of a couple of phrases I say all the time. One is persistence creates a landing spot for luck. And
that.
by
Yeah.
you doing
Yeah.
the work and doing all the videos, it's just creating an opportunity for one
Yeah.
of the videos to go viral or multiple videos to go viral. Hope is
Yes.
not a plan. People that make one video and hope it goes well, it could
Yeah.
happen, but that's not a plan. And so
Yeah.
I think putting that work in. The other one that I love to say all the time is a lot of people want to do what I do, but they're unwilling to do what I did.
Yeah.
And your friends are going to, if they aren't this way right now, some of them will be jealous or envious of your success and may say to you, Sasha, I just want to do what you do now. And you're like,
Yeah.
great, start making videos every day like I did a year ago.
Yeah.
Like, get on it and put the work in. And so many
Yeah.
people, as soon as you tell them, like, you could tell your friends, like, the blueprint. Here's what you do. I got 6 templates. I do this, this, and this. Go do the work. And they'll go, well, I didn't want to do it that bad, Sasha. That's a little more
Yeah.
work than I was hoping it was going to be, right?
Yeah. I think that there's also not like a guaranteed what's so
No.
frightening with some people is there's no guaranteed hourly pay. You don't have a guaranteed salary. You don't have it, nothing is promised, especially in this area. So they, it's like that super that big hump will really weed out everybody who is not prepared to either sit there and make the videos and maybe look like a fool if videos but to me it's not like people can sit there all day and tell me, oh, why is she posting 6 times a day, but none of it is I think also just having a thick skin because nobody's
Yeah.
talking like that to a somebody who's doing a finance internship or doing and I know if I was doing like all my friends who are doing these internships all summer like they so a part of that is guaranteed and it's recognizing that that is probably what most of the people who are in college and especially in America that's the streamline. You are in college, you do your first year, you do a year and then the second summer you're off to your internship and then you're thrust into corporate America for the rest of your life, which is just not what I want to do.
Sounds,
So,
no,
um,
no, not at all.
yeah,
Not for me either. That's what I did. And
yeah,
I hated it. And I'd say that
yeah,
it's almost impossible to describe the feeling when you make money while you're sleeping the first time.
it
It
is.
is an
It really is.
absolutely it's an addicting feeling when you go to
It
sleep
is.
and wake up and you're making money and you're like, whoa, I really enjoy this. I want to do more of that.
Yeah,
And that's not for everybody. Like you said, like not everybody's an entrepreneur. I think everybody could be an entrepreneur, but a lot of
I
people
agree.
lack the mindset that you're talking about putting the work in and delay.
Yeah.
It's all about delayed gratification. If I put
Yes.
work
Yeah.
in now and I get an hourly rate, I get money tomorrow or next week or the week after. if I put work in now, it's going to take time to build. But when it starts to build, boy, I find the harder I work, the luckier I get, Sasha.
Yeah. And I mean, there hasn't been, I think it's just, except I agree with you. Everybody could do this if they realize that it's just so much different than what we have been trained to do. Because in a world where you are working a 9 to 5, that's really all you have to work. You go in, you are starting working at 9, done at 5, and you can forget all about it. There hasn't been a day since I started this that I forgot about it and just wasn't
Yeah.
doing it. I've been working on this every single day for a year. And I don't
it.
take a Sunday off. I don't take a vacation off. I'm on vacation, I'm filming. And I'm using every single opportunity that I'm given to leverage myself to become more successful. I don't take anything for granted. I took my mom to Mexico in May, and as much as I wanted to be there present with her, there was times where I was like, okay, I need 30 minutes and I just need to make content for, whatever. And, in a normal job, you wouldn't be doing that. You would be completely, removed from the job. But I feel lucky enough to love what I do. And I love the reaction when I get sales that I want to do it. Like I think that's what makes it so people can be so successful is that once you start getting used to that feeling where it's like, okay, I'm getting, more and more and more, growing and growing and growing with sales and whatnot, I think that feeling just grows drive in me, and I'm, every day I'm more driven to keep doing it. I haven't been, my dad's like, okay, you're gonna get burned out from doing this. So far, obviously it's only been a year, but I don't think I'll ever get tired of it. I want to build and build and build until I can really enjoy the fruits of my labor. And, I don't know if that'll be ever. I'm addicted to working now. Like I'm addicted to making these videos. Like I love it. I truly love it.
I love that. You've got the right mindset. You've got the right work ethic. I think of business as a game, and like, it's just a
Yeah.
different game. We're playing a different game. That's all it is. It's just, it's like a board game, except it's with money and with TikTok shops. It's an affiliate. And for me, the game is fun. I like playing games. And so I'll probably play the game forever in some capacity because it's fun for me. Like retirement is when you go to die.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to do that. I want to have fun and meet cool people and build and make things work and then have other people make money. That for me is the enjoyment part of it. So I think you're on a great trajectory. Yeah, you're already doing exceptionally well. I mean, you're already crushing it financially. It's amazing. It's amazing how you're doing already. I mean, a year to some people sounds like a lot, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not that much time to have the success you've already had.
Yeah. I feel like a baby. Fast. I'm just getting started.
I love it. Well, we could talk all day, but thank you so much for taking the time to talk with us. And for all the listeners, please subscribe and like the podcast. And I really appreciate it, Sasha. Thanks for talking with us today.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe, leave a review, and share with friends. And if you're an entrepreneur interested in coming on the show, visit therobgreenshow.com to get in touch. Stay curious and never stop learning, improving, or growing.